نفس ذائقة الموت وإنما توفون أجوركم يوم القيامة فمن زحزح عن النار وأدخل الجنة فقد فاز وما الحياة الدنيا إلا متاع الغرور. صدق الله العظيم. This ayah, in this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al Imran is mentioning about the concept of death. This concept of death is one of the cornerstone of our aqidah, that we believe that we will return back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will recompense us according to our deeds on the day of judgment. This ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us that not only the concept of death, but also talks about the day of judgment as well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut, that every soul will taste death. Every soul. Whether we talk about humans, we talk about angels, we talk about jinn, or hasharat, or any haywanat, whatever we can think of, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about, every soul will face death. Only thing that remains is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions here, after the mentioning about the concept of death, that every soul will face death, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِنَّمَا تُوَفَّوْنَا أُجُورَكُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. And indeed, you will be recompensed with what you have done in this dunya on the day of judgment. فَمَنْ زُحْزِحَ عَنِ النَّارِ. And whosoever is able to just go away from the hellfire, avoided the hellfire, وَدْخَلَ الْجَنَّةِ, and enter into the Jannah, فَقَدْ فَازَ. And this is the real victory. This is the real victory. And in this dunya, Allah, many times we get engaged in our lives and tend to forget that we are all going to die and we have to face Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we will be rewarded according to our deeds. And this ayah, the first part of it, Kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has repeated 3 times in the Qur'an in different ways. In another place, in Surah Al-Ankabut, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut, thumma ilayna turja'un. That every soul will taste death, and then you will all return back to us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will be returning to us. And Surah Al-Anbiya, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the same thing, Kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut, وَنَبْلُوكُمْ بِالشَّرِّ وَالْخَيْرِ فِتْنَةً وَإِلَيْنَا تُرْجَعُونَ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that every soul will taste death, and we are testing you all with the good and with the bad, and you are all returning back to us. You're all returning back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned about the same concept of كُلُّ مَنْ عَلَيْهَا فَانٍ وَيَبْقَى وَجْهُ رَبِّكَ ذُو الْجَلَالِ وَالْإِكْرَامِ. That whosoever is on the earth, it will perish. Whosoever is on the earth. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the face of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is the one who will remain, His honor will remain forever. That's what the reality of life is. There's a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that talks about, when we talk about avoiding the hellfire and entering into Jannah, the concept of Jannah is referred as this. That Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, مَوْضِعُ صَوْتٍ فِي الْجَنَّةِ خَيْرٌ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا وَمَا فِيهَا. Just a small space that you can think of for a whip. That small space in Jannah is better than whatever is in this dunya. If you can get this in the Jannah, the small space, that is better than the whole dunya. And today, in this world, we, unfortunately, by the deception of the shaitan, we run after the dunya, forgetting about that we are all going to face Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are all going to face death. And after that, there's a life after that, which is forever. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will recompense us depending on what we have done in this dunya, and whether we were the people of the Iman or not. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala either will place us into Jannah or Jahannam, and both of them are forever after that. So life is there forever. So to have this dunya, to go after the dunya to the point that you lose your Jannah, this could be the worst kind of a deal a man can make. As the rest of the ayah of the Surah Al-Imran talks about, وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَتَاعُ الْغُرُورِ. And what is this dunya except What is this life of dunya? Except mata'ul ghurur, except it is a deception. It is a deception. Think of ourselves. Whosoever who is here, we are probably from the age of from 10 to 70 or 80 years old in this room, or maybe less than that probably. But all of us, we look at the life in a relative term. The one who's 10 years old probably thinks that 20 is a very old age. The one who's 20, he thinks 30 is very old. The one who reaches 30, he starts thinking 30 is not old, 40 is old. The one who becomes 40, he thinks 50 is old, 40 is not old. There are many 50 years old I know here who think they are young still. And the 60 is the real old one. And 60 years old will think the 70 is old. And as the one who's 10 years old, they will say 70? You're talking about this is like a dinosaur life or something. But in reality, my brothers and sisters, in reality, the life is very short. No matter how long we live, whatever Allah has written for us in this dunya, we cannot, first of all, extend the life that Allah has given to us in this dunya, or we cannot shorten it. Nobody can take the life away unless Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills. And nobody can give us the life unless Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills. And this is the way we should look at the life, and we act according to the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without any kind of fear except the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do not get into any kind of a state of fear of people or the dunya, what they will think or what they will do against us, and disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Never ever get into that state. Because at the end of the day, we all will return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We all belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We all recite this, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Let's ponder on that. What does it mean? It means indeed that we belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we will return back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when we return back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will recompense us whatever we have done in this dunya. And when we talk about whatever we have done in this dunya, that includes all aspects of life. Let's not get into the same mistake that Yahud and Nasara did, and they have secularized their deen and thinking that deen is just some spiritual aspect of life, and the rest of the life affair will be run by other than what Allah has commanded. We as Muslims, we all believe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordained us a comprehensive way of life. Secularism has no room in Islam. Islam provides us a comprehensive way of life. Hence, let's live according to way of life. And if it's not available, which we know that for us as Muslims today, we are living Islam on an individual basis as much as we can, because we don't have any place where the Islam as a whole is implemented. So that should be part of our work, because we will be held accountable on the Day of Judgment about that too, that what we have done for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prevails, and everybody has the chance to live by the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.